with the video conferencing platform will result in the platform being shut down. However, the meeting will continue. Meetings will continue to be broadcast on WACA-TV and live streamed on Facebook. And to participate remotely, there was a video link on the meeting agenda posted at Town Hall, how to log in, and there's also telephone numbers listed to how to log in via telephone. First order of business, 7 p.m. The first item is going to be calling the meeting to order. We have 2 members of the ZBA here tonight in person and 2 that are joining us via video conferencing. I, John Trefethen, am present.
Hi, Brian Forrestall, I'm present.
I, Stuart Siegel, am present on Zoom.
Hi, Ryan Sullivan, I'm present also on Zoom.
Excellent. Our first item on the agenda, we have 2 public hearings this evening. The first is a public hearing involving 487 Main Street. I'll read the notice that was published in the Metro West Daily News and posted on the town's website and at the clerk's office. The Ashland Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing to hear the petition from Habitat for Humanity Greater Worcester requesting a comprehensive permit per MGL Chapter 40B, Sections 20-23, to allow for the development of 1 single-family home in a property which has 11,761 square feet and 107 feet of frontage and does not meet the zoning dimensional requirements. The property in question is located at 487 Main Street, Assessors Map 20, Lot 245A, in the Ashland Residential B, parenthesis RB, close parenthesis, zoning. Parties wishing to be heard on this matter should appear at the time and place indicated above. That being said, we have someone here from the applicant, and if you would kindly step up to the podium there. I think Alvaro will help you turn the audio on so that you're heard. And just identify yourself, if you would, please, name and address, and make your presentation, if you would.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Hear me okay?
I think, is that coming in okay,
Is that good?
WACA? Okay, thank you.
Great, thanks. My name is Paul Robello. I work for Habitat for Humanity. We're located at 640 Lincoln Street in Worcester. It's our place of business. So, as you said, I'm here to talk about the development of 47 Main Street. It's currently an open lot, and we are interested in putting a single-family house on the property. It's not coming up. I got it here, but not there. Just go through those. Okay. All right, so just a little bit of an overview of what Habitat does. As I said, we create affordable housing for low-income families. We're located in central Massachusetts and service 42 towns from about the area of Wayland to the east to Brookfield to the west. We've been in existence since 1985 and have built 62 houses, I believe it is, in that time frame. And we also do critical repair programs, so folks who are in their homes, we do repairs for them in order to help them stay in their homes, either through need of safety, health, or code compliance. So we do a couple different things to help support housing in the area. We also have a sort of a revenue generating program of building playhouses for children of veterans. We just passed, I think it's 540 of those built and delivered to children, which helps us support the families in the area and also raise some revenue because they're corporate sponsors for those. Let's see, we have a very aggressive 3-year strategic plan to build 30 houses over the next 3 years, which is about a $15 million investment in the area that we service. So pretty big for us. We typically do a few houses a year, so this is kind of a big jump for us to try to produce more. And we're hoping 487 Main is one of those. So how does Habitat work? Some people think that we give away houses. We do not. The families that are selected for them actually purchase the homes, but they purchase the homes at a steeply discounted rate. So the price they pay is based on their income. And by the way, they have to be in a 30 to typically 60% of the area median income is where they have to fall in order to qualify for the house. But the price they pay is based on their income and financial means to be able to pay for the house. So we oftentimes build a house, costs us quite a bit more than what the families will pay for it. We work with EOHLC, the state organization for affordable housing, and this project, as in others, has been approved for an affordable unit by the state. Typically, the families put down a pretty modest down payment of 3 to 5% versus what you might do in the open market. But they have to earn the right to purchase the house by contributing sweat equity towards the building of their house or other houses that we're working on, or we have restores that help sell and generate revenue from the organization. So there are a few different ways they can earn that sweat equity, but they do have to contribute to the process. That's an important element. The families are ultimately, we advertise the houses and qualify all of the applicants, and usually there are many more applicants than the number of houses that we're offering for sale. So typically, we'll qualify down all those that apply for it, come up with a smaller set of qualified applicants, and then ultimately hold a lottery to select, to do it as fairly as possible, who gets the house. And then the house remains affordable in perpetuity. So if the family wants to decide they want to sell, they have to sell it as an affordable unit. So it's not just something that's going to go on the open market and they can, reap a lot of benefit from it. Okay? So the house we're looking to build, this is what we call our standard plan. It's a 2-story colonial style house, fits in New England character quite well. It's 1,560 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. We've built this several times, so we have a very good idea of how it goes together, what materials it takes, what the costs are associated with it, all of those things that are goodness of having a standard plan. This is the front facade. Back facade, as you can see, it's pretty simple. Our philosophy of building is simple, decent, and affordable is what we strive to achieve. Here's a look at the left side of the house. You see it's typically clapboard style siding. Could be hardy plank, LP smart side, or vinyl, but typically clapboard style. And then this is the right side of the house. So you can see pretty basic, but a nice house. It's a good family house. This is a picture of the plot plan, 487 Main. The house fits fairly well on this lot. We can achieve all of the setback requirements. So really no issue in kind of fitting on the lot itself. And I should have pointed out, there is a driveway, 2 cars off-street parking, trying to utilize the existing curb cuts that are on Main Street. So what we're requesting is some relief on the dimensional requirements for the minimum lot size, which is 20,000 square feet, but this lot has 11,812. And then also a reduction on the frontage, which 125 is required. This lot has 104.7. And as I said, all other setbacks are achievable. We would utilize the town's infrastructure for sewer and water. Water has already been stubbed onto the property. The sewer betterment has been paid but not stubbed onto the property. As for managing drainage we would probably do to, I did check with the DPW engineer. Drainage we would manage by the downspouts being directed towards the backyard, so the water would just seep and be infiltrated back into the ground. For the the footing drain of the foundation itself, we'd probably bring that inside to an interior sump drain and then use a sump pump to bring that out if needed. The engineer did say we could connect to the drain system that's in the road, typically done through either a catch basin or a manhole in the street. So again, that's something we would determine at the time of excavation, how wet the soil was and the need for doing something like that. Okay, with that, I'd like to open it up for any questions you may have.
Okay, just so that I'm clear, the only two zoning requirements that you're asking us to waive are the square foot lot size and the frontage size, is that
Correct.
correct?
Correct.
Everything else?
Yeah, the other setbacks we
have
can
to
achieve
comply
with the
with.
standard plan. Yep.
Okay. Have you spoken to any of the neighbors in the on the street?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
Well, could I jump in on that one?
Oh, sure.
Hi, I'm Debbie Maruka Hoke. I'm
I'm sorry, who's speaking now?
Debbie Maruka Hoke. I'm online.
She's part of, okay, I'm sorry.
she's-
I didn't know who you were, and suddenly I'm hearing a voice, and we haven't gotten to public comment yet, but
She's part of the Habitat
she's part
team.
of your team. Okay, fine.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Paul is taking point on this tonight. I've lost my voice for most of the day, but I'll try to speak loudly enough to be able to be heard clearly. I'm Debbie Maruka Hoke. I'm the CEO of Habitat. We did send notice to all of the abutting neighbors to the property and hold an open information session about the project. We did not have any neighbors respond or attend the session, but we did send notice of the intent to develop the property and open it up.
Good, thank you for clarifying that. That's helpful to me, at least. I don't have any further questions. Brian?
I don't either, no, pretty straightforward.
Okay, but turning to our two associate members who are on Zoom, Stu, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Yes, I have one question. I was just curious to know, at the time that this property might be up for sale, how is that process again? Can you be a little bit more detailed in describing how the sale of the property would be handled?
Yeah, so we advertise the property when we get to that stage of soliciting potential homeowners. So we have maybe 30 different forums under which we publish the availability of the house, and people can apply. Of all those applicants, we do an initial assessment of folks who are qualified for it. Remember, these folks do have to get mortgages. We do have, I think it's 4 banks that work with us in providing a discounted rate of the mortgage. So we do sort of a pre-qualification, but then they also have to go through qualification with the bank. Of those that meet the qualification criteria, and usually there are multiple of them versus the number of units that we're offering, we then hold a lottery so that we have a fair selection process to identify the ultimate owner. And then the ultimate owner does purchase the property, but as I said, as a discounted rate, and they do hold a mortgage with a bank.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And just a quick question, is that process overseen by the
Yeah.
state
Oh, yes,
agency?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, Ryan, do you have questions?
Yeah.
I do not.
Okay, that completes the questioning from the board members. We will now open it up for public comment. Mr. DeSoni, you're the member of the public, and you're shaking your head no, so glad I'm seated. Excellent, thank you, Mark. Anybody online that wishes to be heard? I'm not hearing a response, so a motion to close public comment? A second?
I second that motion.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
I, Ryan Sullivan, vote in favor.
I, Stuart Siegel, also vote in favor.
Okay, so we've closed the public comment. Let's open it up for discussion. Your thoughts, Brian?
I see no problem with waiving those two. Yeah, for that.
I fully concur. Stu, your thoughts?
I also don't have any concerns. It's a non-conforming lot to begin with, so I think we can manage this.
It's a lot that's had some history in town with not being able to be developed, so I think this would make a nice closure for the street going up the side of Main Street across from the factory there. Ryan, your thoughts?
No thoughts or objections. I support
Okay.
the.
Well, then, I think what we need to do is we need to draft and vote and to approve a hearing decision which would grant the comprehensive permit, would grant the waivers of the two zoning bylaws that you're seeking a waiver of, and put our usual conditions on it. Obviously, one of them would be that the building needs to be built consistent with the plot plan that was filed with the application, also consistent with the picture of the house that you've given us, that it would be similar to that. And typically, Alvaro does a very good job in drafting the decision, so we don't need to make any changes, and we would then vote to approve it. We would have to then sign it, etc. So we are going to have to come back. The good news is it will be approved. The ZBA is in a very busy time, unfortunately, and the planning department is stressed to the max, I think I should say. So rather than continue it to our next scheduled hearing, which is March 11th, where we have a rather large 40B project that's been open for a couple of meetings now, we would like to continue it to the following, which would be, what's that, March 25th, to give Alvaro an opportunity, enough time to draft the decision.
Okay.
March 25th, okay with you folks? Okay. Well, that's okay, because we need 3 people to vote, and we have Ryan and Stu here, so we need to select one associate member to be a sitting member tonight, and then on the 25th, we may need to bring the other person in to be one of the 3 voting members. Okay. I'll get it straight eventually. Ryan and Stu, who would like to be the sitting member designated tonight?
I think it should be Stu based on seniority, unless he has a reason otherwise, but. that'd be
I
fine with
talked
me.
to Stu earlier today, and he said he would be happy to let some of the newer guys jump in on a vote. So So if you're up
Not
for
an
it,
issue on
Ryan.
my end. Yeah, sure, not a problem.
Okay, why don't, so the three voting members will be Brian Forrestall, Ryan Sullivan, and myself, John Trefethan. And then we need a motion to continue the hearing to Tuesday, March 25th at 7 a.m., 7 p.m.
So moved.
Second?
I second that motion.
I, John Trefethan, vote in favor.
I, Brian Forrestall, vote in favor.
I, Stuart Siegel, vote in favor.
I, Ryan Sullivan, vote in favor.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Okay, very good. Thank you
Good
so
luck
much, gentlemen.
and welcome to Ashland.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we're going to take a brief 5-minute recess so that the next public hearing can get set up. Thank you. Okay. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing involving an application on 35 Nickerson Road. Before we open the hearing, I will be recusing myself from the proceeding. Reason being, I am one of 4 trustees that own Algonquin Trail, which is a private road and a number of residents on that road are listed as abutters from the town records. And when faced with this, with the previous application from another address on Nickerson Road, I was advised by town council that I should properly recuse myself, and that is what I am going to do. And I will turn the hearing over to Brian Forrestal.
Welcome, gentlemen. Mr. Connors, please proceed.
Good evening. My name is George Connors. I'm representing Mr. Barberi, who's with me here tonight. Mr. Barberi owns a piece of property as ORB Investments LLC on Nickerson Road, number 35 Nickerson. May I share screen? Okay, I'm on a different page. I did.
Stop the share and then share it again.
I don't think I hit that. Maybe I did. Who knows? How do I make it move? What am I doing wrong?
Maybe it's just the computer, but let me see if I can find the application here, George, and I'll try sharing my screen, if anything. Maybe that will make it easier. I'll try to share it and then just, you let me know.
Are you doing it?
Okay.
All right. That should do it. I recognize that now.
Feel free to let me know where to.
You want me to tell you when to stop? That'll help. Okay, we have. Can I point to that? pointer doesn't, oh, there it is.
You can just tell me, I'll point.
Are you doing it or am I?
I am doing it
Oh,
on my screen.
why don't I go home and I'll log in and you can talk to me. All right, so Nickerson Road is a industrial zone in the brown up on that map. On the right-hand side, you'll see down in the bottom, the curve of Pond Street as it goes by the fence place. And then Nickerson Road comes up a little bit beyond that. So that's the industrial zone, and about 4 lots up is a small house encircled there on number 35 Nickerson Road. It is a residential structure. It has a house on it, yeah, it has a house on it, and adjacent to that are several lots of similar size. The area is zoned for 30,000 square foot lots and 150 feet of frontage. That lot and several near it are roughly 16,000 square feet and 100 feet of frontage from a long ago subdivision up there. Some other lots in the area are certainly significantly larger than that. But that is basically the area that you can see. If we can go to another drawing. Yeah, there it is, a little bit bigger. So the house is there. That house is a house that had a garage on the left side. Mr. Barberi has removed the garage on the left side. It simply was standing on the ground as some sort of an ad hoc addition. So the house now has been renovated in accordance with his permit with the building department, leaving that lot with enough room now on the left-hand side to get a driveway back there, which we'll talk about in just a minute or two. If we can go to the site plan now, that will be the other one. It's also in this set if we go down. There it is. All right, so there is the site plan with the altered house. You see Nickerson Road on the bottom. And the house is set about 30 feet back. You see that. It's got the garage on the left-hand side, a couple of paved aprons leading up to it on the left, and then not quite all the way on the right. It has a 8-foot side yard on the right-hand side. Behind it is open space that is just a yard area. And what Mr. Barberi would like to do is put a contractor garage, which is an allowed use in the industrial zone, in the back of the site. That particular contractor garage would violate its side yard and rear yards. The existing house violates setback by 10 feet. It violates side yard by about 20 feet. We've tabulated all those various dimensional nonconformities on, I think it's page 4 of our application, which includes not only the lot, but the frontage. The building is also needs some kind of relief relative to the percentage of cover. And the existing house is, we hope to use it as a house, as some of the planning documents and master plans evidence in the town indicate a need for housing. It would be a affordable type house because of its location and its size and the industry that's around it. So our proposal is to call for the principal use to be a contractor garage in conformance with the underlying allowed uses in zoning. And then the house as a accessory use for it. There are provisions in the code for pre-existing non-conforming uses to be altered or changed. We believe that the alteration of this, really the semantics of calling it an industrial lot with a subordinate use that there for the house would be appropriate in this instance to not only comply with the need for housing, but some stated things in the planning board's master plans and things of that nature. The special permit requirements allow for you to make that determination as long as you can determine that it has no material impacts, significant impacts to the neighborhood. The neighborhood consists of several of these houses. Mr. Barberi has some letters in support that he'll talk about in just a couple of minutes. But there are some houses up there on lots with the industrial activities taking place. And a lot of the lots are of varying sizes. This is definitely a small lot. It is an old zoning district in the area. It's heavily used. If we can go to a couple of different GIS views, Elvira, the area shows GIS pictures. A little more further. That's the house as it's been reconstructed to see where the driveway leads up to a white space between the machine and the house. That was where a garage was, so that has been removed for the access to the site. Further down in the pictures, I think we'll see some heavy, there's the heavy industrial use. You can see specifically the arrow he has is on our house. That's before the house had the garage removed. You see the industrial activity to the left and across the street. There's, I think, a further out view of that in the next one. There you go. Again, that's pretty much the same thing. That's just showing the house having the garage removed. That's the assessor's card. So basically, we need relief from a variance perspective for side yards, setbacks of the pre-existing non-conforming building, rear yards, and the expansion of, or the change in structure and use to the house to allow us to have that. Now, Mr. Barberi has some support for it I think he'd like to talk about for a second, and then I'd be happy to answer questions.
One little correction, I did add a one-car garage. There was a 30-foot garage that was built on a driveway that was all rotted. I got a building permit, demolished that, and I put on a smaller garage. In your package tonight, you have a letter from the people to the right of me supporting it. You have a letter from the person to the rear of me supporting it. You also have a letter from 22 Nickerson Road, who has a commercial space and a two-family home. And they rent out, most of the times, the people that are renting a commercial space also rent the house. And that's kind of what I'm hoping will happen here. Whoever rents a commercial space will also rent the house. Nickerson Road has, not just Nickerson Road, Ashland has a lot of places where, whether they're supposed to be there or not, that there's a lot of commercial activity in residential zones. This is zoned for industrial, and the house is already there. I'd like to leave it there.
Okay. Mr. Connors, you coming back up, or?
I'm happy to answer questions,
You're good, okay.
respond to comments.
All right. I guess I'll start with the board. Does anyone have any questions? Ryan or Stu? A little short-handed tonight. You're muted, Stu. Stu, I think you're muted. Is he able to talk, Alvaro?
Stu, you're a co-host, so you should not have any issue muting yourself. I'll try to do it from here as well.
I guess we could start with Ryan while we're figuring that out. Ryan, you got any questions?
Yes, so I understand the intended use for the garage as a contractor's garage. Can you give a little bit more detail on what the anticipated use will be and what type of traffic you expect, timing of traffic, et cetera, relative to that garage?
I actually own the property to the left with my partner, Mike Amalfi. In that place, we have a small used car. They have a 20 by 40. We have a guy that does upholstery, is a 20 by 40. We have a mechanic who has a 40 by 40. Then we have an auto body shop that has 60 by 30, a 60 by 40, and a 40 by 40. I honestly don't know what we're going to get there, but the guy that's renting the 40 by 40 wants to rent this building because it's bigger, he needs more room, and also wants to rent the house. But I'm not sure that, we'll see what happens when it gets built, but those are the type of people we'll be looking for now. Franny Venuta built up the under road. He put up like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 metal buildings. And he rented to, there's one guy that does rims, one guy does tires, someone else does computer waste or whatnot. I mean, we really don't know who we're gonna get there, but something like that, I'm assuming. It could be a landscaper or a plumber. We just don't know.
How many proposed bays are there for the
What's that?
current design? How many proposed bays are there for the current design? I don't know
I think
that
just
saw.
2. I think just 2 so that I could split it in half.
Okay.
May I just interject that we will need to go to the planning board for site plan approval on this if we were to gain the approval for the use.
Hey, Stu, did you,
Yes, I think I'm unmuted.
okay.
I would like to refer to the building inspector's letter to you, Mr. Connors.
Sir?
Are you ready to change the residence to a commercial building?
Do you want to change the residence to a commercial? We would like to leave it as residence.
Well, that's going to be a kind of a showstopper from my perspective, but we can discuss that in our discussion.
Okay, I think that if we look at the special permit provisions, 9.3, sorry, 3.3.1, non-conforming uses and structures, 3.3.2, non-conforming uses. We can look at that as structures that are lawfully in existence or lawfully begun, which this is lawfully in existence. They were only changing the semantics of use so that the base use in the industrial zone is the commercial garage. And therefore, the house becomes subordinate to that. It's a non-conforming use that a special permit can change that non-conforming use. And the idea is that it's not substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming use to the neighborhood. The change or substantial extension of the use, there's no extension of the use with that house at all. And you can change from one non-conforming use to another, less detrimental to the neighborhood under B, 3.3.2B. And if you take the position that it's an industrial zone and the commercial garage is something that can by right allow there, then the non-conforming use that exists is no less detrimental to the neighborhood. And that's, I think, where we differ with the building inspector in the semantics. We did have a discussion with him on this. We had an initial submission for review, and we had a discussion and went through it, and this is the second letter that he has written to me on this. I think we just agree that we're really not converting something or asking for something new. It's just a semantical aspect of trying to keep a residence that exists and is in pretty good shape and would benefit the town. It exists up there on other lots in that same type of scenario where people live, and, well, I think it makes sense.
Stu, you good?
Well, again, I just wanted to reiterate, so for clarity, the building inspector is claiming that there's going to be two principal uses on the same lot, and you can't have that.
Okay, answer to that. An accessory building is what we're calling it. It's a subordinate building located in the same lot as the main lot, and it's customarily incidental to that of the principal building or use of the land. And in that neighborhood, that is a typical situation on a few of the lots up there. And many of them have literally abandoned the residential use. But indeed, there are several, and Mr. Barber has a letter on one of them, is a duplex right nearby. There are houses that exist up there that are being used, and I think it certainly falls under a subordinate and customary incidental use that has been established long, long ago when that's the way you did things. You'd have a house with your garage out back and you had your backhoe or your bulldozer in it. And then you would simply see zoning change as time went on and things changed. But a lot of those things still remain up there today. We don't think it's any different than that.
Stu, are you all set?
For the time being, yes.
Okay. Ryan, you good?
I am, yes, thank you.
So, Mr. Connors, I have the same problem with it. I know that's how we used to do things, and I grew up in a neighborhood that had similar things, properties and things got people worked out of the back of their homes and so on. But in this day and age, I don't think that I can allow two uses on one property the way that the things have been going today. So I'm a no on this to allow it to happen. It has to be one or the other. That's where I stand on it.
You do, maybe you don't, but you could literally turn that into an office semantically and leave the structure there. That would be allowable.
Well, then you're still asking for a lot of other things to build this, the setbacks, the
Relief.
coverage.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
And all those lots up there need stuff like that.
yeah.
Literally, every one of them doesn't meet setback. Most of them don't have frontage.
Yep, I understand, pre-existing non-conforming.
And it's
So-
an industrial zone. And those are very important today in many of these towns.
I agree with you. I just don't agree with the mixed-use aspect of it. You know, it's one house, it's one lot, but you want to make two things out of it, which both have been beneficial to the town. But the way that the zoning is now, and the reason we do zoning is to kind of keep things moving forward, is to allow one use on the property. So I can't see my way clear of making two uses out of it.
Subordinate use, an accessory building, which is allowed.
You want to have a residential home and a commercial garage in the back. Subordinate, one or the other, right?
Mhm.
That's where I stand on it. So, do we want to open it for public comment, or? I'd like to open it for public comment if you're good with. for
Oh,
now,
yeah,
or-
yeah, sure.
Yes, Mark, that's you.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, Mark Tassoni, 119 Main Street. You kind of, have answered some of the questions already, but, and you affirmed on 3.3 non-conforming structures and the 3.1 applicability is going to be a pretty tough sell to do. I understand that. And the variance that is required is the exterior and all the non-conforming distance and all that stuff. That's another thing that's going to be a little sticking point, isn't it? Variance? Yes or no?
Possibly.
And it was talked about that the building inspector, if this does get how much of an input does the building inspector have with special permits?
You'd probably be better off asking him on his time, Mark, than us.
Okay.
Sure where the line is.
Then I'll bring it back here then. If things were going on straight through, could a special permit be awarded if it was a straight-through project?
I'm not sure what you mean by straight-through project, Mark. but-
One or the other, commercial or house?
Yes, then something could be. Yeah, if it was a single use in one structure, it would be much easier to approve.
And so the building inspector will be in touch in that, in case one an opinion, but this board has got the final say on that, right? Special permit, what the final say?
Probably, yeah, I guess, yeah, if I understand your question correctly.
Okay,
You're 2 minutes into your 3 minutes, Mark.
okay. So in no way it's gonna be a mix use, one or the other is what the board's looking at, right?
We haven't voted, but that's the way it's leaning.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
And we don't have any comment online.
May I
Yeah,
clarify?
please, yes, yeah.
The building inspector's letter is quite clear in its final bullet point before the last paragraph. Again, as a reminder, you would not be able to keep the existing building as residential, although I disagree with that. It would be required to be converted to a commercial use, thus the office as a accessory unit. So
Okay.
I think that the idea that it wouldn't be there is not really something we consider. We would keep that value somehow, some way, shape, or form. It's a value. Much better value for people than an office. Plenty of office space everywhere. So to think that
So do you want to withdraw with prejudice and bring new plans to show it in a different light, or?
we couldn't simply agree that instead of a residential, we change our petition verbally tonight to a commercial office use?
Well, this is my first time in this chair, so I'm not sure if we're allowed to do that or not.
Well, it was my first time before this computer, so.
I'm pretty sure that we have to rule on what's in front of us, and if you want to make changes, it has to go back. It can't be
We can do
done-
that.
Yeah. If that's what you want to do without prejudice,
That,
that's,
yeah, absolutely. We don't
I
want to
think
tear that
that's-
thing down.
okay. I think that's good. Brian and Stu, do you have anything to say on that?
Ryan speaking here. Yeah, I mean, I do agree, obviously, that I think that would have to go back and resubmit the application and withdraw it without prejudice. I would like to, I guess, see a little bit more, get a little bit more on the hardship if we don't approve on the variance. I do understand that's, one of the criteria we have to overcome is to show that there would be a substantial hardship to the property owner if we were to not approve the variances. So on that point, I really haven't seen much behind it. So for the next round.
Mr. Barberio or Mr. Connors, do you hear the question?
I think I heard it. I'm going to review it again tomorrow when I can hear more.
Okay. And Stu, do you have anything?
No, I think you're on the right track at this point in time, Mr. Chairman. I think the applicant has to make some decisions.
Okay. All right, I'm not sure how to wrap this up, but,
We'll make a request to withdraw without prejudice.
okay. Yeah, and so, I'll make a motion that the applicant withdraw without prejudice. Can I get a second?
I second that motion.
All in favor? Hi, Brian Forrest, all in favor?
I, Stuart Siegel, am in favor.
I'm Ryan Sullivan in favor.
All right, so we're gonna withdraw and punt and start over. All right, thanks for your time, guys. Sorry about that.
WACA, can we take a 5-minute recess while the previous party cleans up? Thank you. Welcome back. Next item on the agenda is approval of our meeting minutes from our November 26th, 2024 meeting and our February 13th, 2025 meeting. Alvaro sent the draft minutes out to us to review, and with respect to the November 26th, 2024 meeting, there was a glitch with the audio on part of it, so that the vote on the approval of the draft decision was not recorded. And what we have done is we have recreated the vote. We do not recall who made the motion to approve the decision or who seconded it, but we do know that the vote was 3-0 in favor, and that the members that voted in favor were myself, Brian, and Nathan Band, another member of the board. So with that change, I think we also need to put next to each individual name the word "I," because that's how our votes have been listed before, but otherwise, I think it's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure that you suggested a motion, and I
I
said
did,
so.
and put that typical, but I couldn't remember, and my
Yeah.
notes didn't indicate, so I didn't want to, put your name in when we didn't have any documentation.
Yeah, I would
Although
put
I'm 99% sure,
Yeah.
based on our usual routine, that's what we did.
Yeah, I would
You
write it that
approved
way.
it and Nathan seconded it.
Yeah.
That was just how we would roll at the time, but where we didn't have documentation of that, I thought it was better to do this, but I thought it was important to have the vote approving the decision in the minutes in the event that there's ever a question about how did this decision come to be. Well, it was approved at this meeting.
Yeah.
Ryan and Stu, do you have any problems with that?
Not at all.
Okay. And how about a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
Okay. I, John Trefethan, vote in favor.
Aye, Brian Forrestall, vote in favor.
I, Stuart Siegel, vote in favor.
I, Ryan Sullivan, vote.
Excellent, so we're all set on that. And moving along to, February 13th, 2025. Again, Alvaro sent out a detailed,
February 11th.
I'm sorry, February 11th, detailed 5-page of minutes from our comprehensive permit hearing. I had just, I think, one minor, 2 minor changes. On the first page, I suggested that it should not be the planning board, but the planning department. And then on line 45 on the second, striking out the word "the" between that and "they." But otherwise, I thought it was an excellent job of compiling minutes from a fairly lengthy, complicated hearing.
Oh, it's not me. It's Laura Clifford, who is the admin for the Board of Health.
We will
She's
give,
the one that does the minutes, so
we will give
I don't want
Laura
to steal the credit.
full credit then. Thank you.
Yes.
Very big of you to give her the credit and not accept it. Okay, if everybody's all set with those changes, a motion to approve the minutes with those two minor amendments?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Ryan, second.
Ryan seconded it, okay. I, John Trefethan, vote in favor.
I, Brian Forrestall, vote in favor.
I, Stuart Siegel, vote in favor.
I, Ryan Sullivan, vote in favor.
Okay, so that concludes that. Next, last item on the agenda, staff updates and administrative matters. Alvaro, was there anything to report on that?
Yes, so we received the application for 61 Waverly Street. I sent it early this afternoon, all the documentation that we got as we just hit our 7-day time frame to send all these documents to the boards and different departments of the town. So from now on, we will be able to receive any sort of comments that you guys have to start kind of like making a file into that. We will be having a meeting with the applicant earlier next week. And from there, we'll kind of start crafting a timeline of how these, the public hearing will start and how we're gonna be moving forward with the application, so.
And again, this is another comprehensive permit request so they have now filed officially with the town. Okay.
Yes. So,
And we will deal with that in due course.
I do see that Stu has his hand raised.
Mr. Chairman, this is somewhat embarrassing, but I want to go back to the November 26th meeting, if I could.
Sure.
Under the attendance present, I believe I was there for all meetings. Alvaro, is there any way to double check if I was on the tape?
Yes, I'm happy to do so, Stu.
Okay, so if I was on the tape, you would just put me in as being present, and then the minutes would flow correctly?
For sure.
Okay, that would be
I can
fine.
double check. If that was not the case, I will
Okay,
reach out to Stu and let him know.
Thank you very much.
that's fine. Thanks for calling that to our attention, Stu. Sorry, I overlooked it. Anything else on staff updates or administrative matters?
That will be everything.
Okay, so our next meeting is March 11th, where we have another session on the 10-60 Main Street Comprehensive Permit request, and we will be dealing with the remainder of traffic and also the beginning on the civil engineering aspect based on what we had said at the last meeting. With all of that being said, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
Okay, I, John Trefethan, vote in favor.
I, Brian Forrestall, vote in favor.
I, Stuart Siegel, vote in favor.
I, Ryan Sullivan, vote in favor.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, WACA. And good night, everybody.
Thank you.